shot and wounded and taken into custody during a police investigation in Eagle Rock has now been identified as Jillian Schreiner, the wife of Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner. The arrest came after a dramatic chain of events, including the manhunt for multiple suspects following a freeway hit-and-run crash.
That's where the shooting happened, just outside a really strange set of circumstances. And now the rock star's wife has been booked for attempted murder. New cell phone video tonight shows Jillian Schreiner on the ground with a gunshot wound, then being cuffed and taken into police custody.
It's a little crazy. I think they're just trying to come on aggressive.
Neighbors on Eagle Vista Drive in Eagle Rock reacting to the LAPD shooting and arrest of the 51-year-old wife of Weezer band member Scott Schreiner after police activity nearby on the 134 freeway.
5 helicopters, lots of police activity, sirens. It was unsettling. I mean, it doesn't happen here very often, if at all. Yeah, it was strange. It was a strange day.
It was strange. 3 suspects Tuesday being chased by police ran into the Eagle Rock neighborhood. The LAPD says Schreiner, who was not involved in the chase, came out of her home with a gun. The officers ordered Schreiner to drop the handgun numerous times. Instead, they say she pointed the weapon at officers and they opened fire. Schreiner was shot in the shoulder but not seriously injured. Neighbors took cover from the chaos.
I got my kids that we went into a place in the house where it's away from anywhere near a backyard or, where they could come through.
Although police are not saying if Schreiner fired her weapon, she now has been charged with attempted murder.
The sound of helicopters pierced the quiet afternoon in Eagle Rock, Los Angeles. Okay. Doors slammed, officers shouted, sirens pulsed through the air like a warning. On an otherwise peaceful street, a woman stepped out of her home holding a handgun. She wasn't fleeing. She wasn't shouting. She just stood there, one breath, one move, and then shots rang out.
Okay. We're going to watch right now. Looks like we are seeing some folks being taken into custody. And we'll remind everyone this is a live, raw feed. We are not in charge of what's shown, only it being shown to you. So we'll keep a close eye on things here. It looks like you might have, let's see, 2 people. Now you're saying the person in black matches a description.
Well, it's interesting because before we had been under the impression, so one person had already been arrested. There had already been a suspect in that initial hit and run who was taken into police custody. And based on what we were hearing about the second suspect, it had been implied that it was a male, but this clearly looks like it was 2 women who are being arrested now. So it may have been a woman.
Question here on Eagle Vista Drive. The first woman, she was believed to be a resident, but this woman here, she's actually the one that police were really looking for because they believe that she is the woman that came out of a home armed with a gun. Now, police fired in her direction. Clearly, they didn't hit her. At this point, it's unclear if she fired back, but they had been looking for her now for about an hour, just taken into custody. As you can see, there's that other woman there up against the squad car. Now, this actually all started on the 134 freeway, which is just to our north here. It started as a hit-and-run crash at the 134 East at Figueroa involving 3 vehicles. Now, one man in one of those cars, he took off running and ran right into this neighborhood where he ran into the home where that woman in the black was located, and apparently that is when she came out with a gun. Now, their relationship is unknown to us at this time, but we do have some video to show you of that man also being taken into custody. He came out in his boxers. Again, their relationship to each other is unknown at this time, but this did result in a police shooting. No officers were hurt, and 2 people are now in custody. That is the latest here from Eagle Rock and News Chopper 4. I'm Eliana Moreno. Back to you in the studio.
When the smoke cleared, the woman bleeding on her porch wasn't a fugitive or a stranger to chaos. She was a best-selling author, a mother of 2, and the wife of a rock star. Jillian Lauren's name would explode across headlines by nightfall. Not for the books she wrote, but for a moment that nearly cost her everything. Jillian Lauren had lived 1,000 lives before this one. She had written her way out of darkness, from a brutal past that included time in a harem in Brunei, to a life of redemption, love, and motherhood in sunny California. She wasn't just an author. She was a fighter, a survivor.
That breaking news, we have new information on the woman shot by Los Angeles police following a hit and run on a freeway in the Eagle Rock. I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leva. Just minutes ago, we learned that Jillian Schreiner was shot by officers during a search for the hit and run suspects. According to police, officers were searching a home in the neighborhood for one of the suspects when they spotted Schreiner standing in her front yard next door armed with a gun. They claim that she ignored commands to drop the weapon, and that's when officers opened fire. Schreiner was taken to the hospital and treated for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. We ran her address, and it comes back to Jillian and Scott Schreiner. He is the bassist for...
Someone who had told the stories others were too scared to share. Her husband, Scott Schreiner, the bassist of Weezer, the iconic rock band that helped define a generation. Together, they raised 2 children, adopted and loved. They had made a life out of transformation. But no one, not even someone who's seen darkness, expects the police to show up in their quiet neighborhood, weapons drawn. That day, officers were tracking suspects from a violent hit-and-run nearby. Roads closed, patrols fanned out, tension rose, and then Jillian stepped outside with a gun in hand. Why? That question would hang in the air like smoke long after the gunfire stopped. Police said they told her to drop the weapon, that she didn't, that she raised it. And in that split second, in that impossible moment, they shot her. Jillian ran back inside, wounded, stunned, alive. Moments later, she reappeared with her babysitter. Hands up, no words, just blood, shock, and confusion. She was taken to the hospital, treated, released, and then booked in absentia for attempted murder. Not for who she hurt, not for a crime committed, but for what could have happened. And still, she hadn't been part of the hit and run they were searching for. This wasn't a takedown. This wasn't justice served. This was something murkier, a moment where trauma, fear, and force collided and nearly ended her story for good. Now the world wants to know, why was Jillian holding a gun? Was she protecting her home? Reacting to fear? Was it instinct, confusion, or something deeper? A thread from her past that pulled her into survival mode once more. No charges connected her to the hit and run. No victims, no shots fired by her. But the headline remains, author, mother, shot, charged. And as Weezer prepares to take the stage at Coachella, their bassist's world has cracked open behind the scenes. Jillian isn't just fighting for her name. She's now at the center of a story she didn't write. This isn't about fame or scandal. This is about what happens when fear, history, and misunderstanding cross paths in an instant. It's about how trauma doesn't just disappear, how even years of healing can unravel when adrenaline takes over. If you're watching this, it's because her story pulled you in. But don't stop here. Look deeper. Think about how fast we are to judge, how quickly a life can shift from safety to survival, from normal to headlines. Jillian Lauren's story is still unfolding, but maybe, just maybe, we can start listening before we start labeling. If this made you feel something, don't scroll past. Share it. Start the conversation. Because one moment can rewrite a life, and the way we respond can shape how that story ends.